There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Saturday, February 27th, 2021. My name is Thomas Hunt, and here's what's happening today in Bitcoin. Coinbase Mafia shows how tight a circle holds sway over Bitcoin. Bitcoin's energy use is staggering and a worry for big investors. Bitcoin buyers punished by surging bond yields. But first, the price of Bitcoin is down 2.66% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 46,861, a high of 48,441, and a low of 45,038. That's $1 for 2,135 Satoshis. Volume was at 8,819 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lean long, but slightly less, at 93%. Bitcoin dominance is at 80%. Coinbase Mafia shows how tight a circle holds sway over Bitcoin. Most of the US crypto power players have links to the exchange. Bored at work? Elon traded Bitcoin from Goldman's bathroom. Dun dun dun! Fred Ursam, I think it is. Coinbase Global's Incorporated's filing to become a publicly traded company provides a glimpse into the remarkably small circle of mostly men who command the incredibly lucrative digital landscape. This US-based power list starts with Brian Armstrong, the now billionaire chief executive of Coinbase, his fellow co-founder Fred Ursam, who went on to create Paradigm Operations, fellow billionaire Fred Wilson of Union Square Ventures, and Andreessen Horowitz's Chris Dixon are among the original venture capitalists that will reap large windfalls from the direct listing of the exchange. Even though verified users of Coinbase, the largest U.S. digital asset exchange, jumped 34% to 43 million users last year as Bitcoin more than quadrupled, control of the largest cryptocurrency remains narrow. Less than 2% of the anonymous ownership accounts that can be tracked on Bitcoin's blockchain control 95% of the digital asset. Included in the influential group of U.S. holders is Dan Morehead, who founded Pantera Capital Management in 2003 and launched the first U.S. crypto fund in 2013. Digital currency group founder Barry Silbert has created an empire that touches every corner of the crypto world. Cameron and Tyler Winklevi also bought their first Bitcoin stake in 2012 when it traded as low as $8, and then co-founded Gemini Trust Corporation, the first crypto firm to be regulated by New York State as a trust. Like many in his select circle, Ursam seemed perfectly poised to adopt the new digital world. He played video games professionally in high school, then studied computer science at Duke University before becoming a foreign exchange trader at Goldman Sachs in New York. Yet he grew bored at the bank as he looked for things that interested him. After work, he discovered Bitcoin through a Georgetown professor's blog. He was instantly fascinated. I would literally trade Bitcoin in the bathroom on my phone at Goldman, Ursam said in an interview. Bitcoin was going for about $6 at the time, compared with a record $58,000 last week. Back then, the main way to buy it was now on the bankrupt exchange Mt. Gox, or through intermediaries, and Ursam realized there was a need to be an easier way to buy and sell crypto. After meeting Armstrong on the Bitcoin subreddit forum, they started Coinbase in 2012 out of an apartment in San Francisco. Armstrong declined to comment. Morehead remembered the early days of Coinbase as he was creating the Pantera Bitcoin Fund in 2013. He'd been an investor for a while, taking huge risks, macro risks, on things like Russian privatization and farmland in Argentina, bets with very steep downside potential, but that could also pay off enormously if successful. I was first attracted to Bitcoin as an investment. It was really something interesting to learn about, Moorhead said. In 2013, however, amassing a large stake in the new digital currency wasn't easy. I sent $2 million dollars to Coinbase and I started trying to buy $2 million dollars worth of Bitcoin, Moorhead said. My daily trading limit was $50. Pantera has grown into one of the largest holders of cryptocurrencies and it has invested in more than 50 startups, including Circle, backed Polychain Capital, Shapeshift, and Zcash, according to its website. In the early days, though, Moorhead had to contend with the drugs and criminals narrative that dogged Bitcoin. He went to every major university endowment in 2015 when Bitcoin was at $100 to tell them they should have it in their portfolio. The conversation was all Silk Road, drugs, whatever, he said, referencing the early black market exchange shut down by U.S. authorities. That dark element to Bitcoin didn't deter Wilson at Union Square and DCG's Silbert, both of who were Series A investors in Coinbase. The company's shares changed hands in recent private transactions at levels that would value Coinbase at close to $100 billion. A person familiar with the matter has said. Union Square has focused its cash on 15 firms in two major areas: infrastructure providers like Protocol Labs and Helium, and in other crypto investment funds like Polychain Capital and Autonomous Partners. Wilson declined to comment. That's a far cry from what Silbert has created at DCG. Among its nearly 300 investments and acquisitions, it touches upon every part of the crypto market. Among them, it has stakes in Etherscan, the block explorer used for the Ethereum blockchain, CoinDesk, a crypto news service, Genesis Global Trading, one of the largest over-the-counter crypto dealers and lenders, Chain Analysis, a blockchain forensic firm, Decentraland, a virtual world built on Ethereum that sells plots of digital land and has its own cryptocurrency, Mana. Silbert also created the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust in 2013, which is the largest crypto investment product with assets of around $31 billion. Silbert declined to comment. A lack of a career on Wall Street helped the Winklevi twins approach Bitcoin with an open mind, Cameron Winklevoss said. Tyler and I didn't have 20 years of capital markets experience when we came to Bitcoin. We were very open to this possibility, and that's how we've always been, driven by curiosity. The brothers famously battled Mark Zuckerberg over the early fate of Facebook, an experience that left them with lessons about Bitcoin. In the early days of Facebook, watching and being part of that trade, we saw the power of networks, and so many people dismissing social networks as a fad, Winklevi said. Yet, he'd watched 90% of the Harvard University student body signed up for Facebook in the first 48 hours. When Bitcoin came around, the twins recognized the same forces at play. It's a money network, Winklevoss says. What happened when you put an economic incentive around that network? That's possibly the most effective network in the world. For Paradigm's Ursam, the size of Bitcoin and crypto in general has exceeded his wildest dreams. If you told him in 2012 that Bitcoin would top $1 trillion, as it did at one point last week, people would think you were absolutely insane. Or quite mad. The idea of a new digital money seemed very strange to most people because a new money has never come about in our lifetimes, at least as Americans, Ursam said. So you're not used to seeing a phenomenon you've never seen before. That will eventually change. It just takes time for a powerful new idea like that to permeate society and build trust in it. Bloomberg News. Article by Matthew Lysing. Bitcoin's energy use is staggering and a worry for big investors. Yes, Bitcoin uses a staggering amount of energy each year, and Bitcoin clashes with a new focus on environmental investing. Yet, advocates say that Bitcoin mining can be powered by renewable energy. Wow, it solves the FUD right there in the summary. Done and done. Bitcoin buyers punished by surging bond yields. These companies are making bets on stuff that have nothing to do with their core business. Fox Business, Jonathan Garber. Investors' love affair with Bitcoin has become a double edged sword as surging bond yields sparked a sell off in risk assets, including Bitcoin, and punished shares of companies that have recently bought the cryptocurrency. Higher interest rates led to a sell off in tech stocks and the broader market, said Mark Lichtenfeld, chief income strategist of the financial newsletter The Oxford Club. The 10-year Treasury yield this week touched 1.6%, its highest level in a year, and in the process climbed above the S&P's 500's 1.5% dividend yield, spooking investors who have come to believe there is no alternative to stocks. The sharp rise in yields also caused money to flee Bitcoin, which fell 14% for the week. The cryptocurrency had seen its price increase more than sixfold over the past year amid the unprecedented amount of physical and monetary stimulus that has been ingested into the system to revive the U.S. economy from its COVID 19 induced shutdown, the sharpest of the post World War II era.
There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Cryptocurrencies are starting to take on the properties of financial assets in that they seem to be impacted by financial market events, said Jim Bianco, president of Chicago based Bianco Research, pointing to their response to movements in interest rates, Fed policy changing perceptions about inflation or the economy. Along with those properties have come increased interest from corporate America in diversifying cash holdings into Bitcoin, which has also resulted in unwelcome share price declines for those companies' investors. Shares of software service provider MicroStrategy, which has more than 90,000 bitcoins worth $4.25 billion at Friday's level of 47,000, have declined 41% since peaking on February 9th. By comparison, the company had about $60 million in cash on its balance sheet at the end of 2020. Meanwhile, shares of the electric car maker Tesla and payments company Square, which have allocated a respective 8 and 5% of their cash to Bitcoin, have also seen outsized losses recently. From their recent peaks, Tesla shares have slumped 24%, while Square's are down 17%. These companies are making bets on stuff that have nothing to do with their core business, so therefore their risks go way up because if it's Bitcoin averaged two corrections of anywhere from 30 to 60% every single year over the past 10 years, said Matt Motley, Boston-based chief market strategist at Miller Tabak and Company. Molly noted that MicroStrategy shares put in a classic island reversal pattern, a technical pattern that marks a top and could fall another 22% to $586. The Oxford Club's Lichtenfeld also said that MicroStrategy has lost $100 million on its recent Bitcoin purchases and that the company and its board are exhibiting completely inappropriate behavior. In his mind, it would make sense for shares to fall back below $300, where they were trading before the company's shift in strategy to Bitcoin. But Ives believes this is just the beginning of companies moving into crypto. Tesla buying Bitcoin will send a ripple effect across the board, with 3 to 5% of public companies owning some crypto over the next 12 to 18 months, he said. Bianco thinks the financial system will look a lot different today than it does 10 years from now, and that crypto could play a major role in that change. If Amazon is going to start letting you buy stuff with crypto coins, that's going to change everything. We ask successful investors, will you be adding Bitcoin to your portfolio? The Motley Fool has suddenly become bullish about crypto. And what do they say? When building a portfolio, you should be more focused on stocks instead of cryptocurrency. But Bitcoin is the only one I would buy right now. Someone told him to buy Bitcoin early, but he didn't buy them. Bitcoin is mainstream now, but it's extremely volatile. Passing up on the hottest investment of the past decade. I have no intention of adding Bitcoin to my portfolio. While I believe there's a future for blockchain technology, and I understand that Bitcoin is benefiting from its first mover advantage into the crypto space, there are a handful of bad reasons I've chosen not to invest in the world's largest digital currency. Blah, 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 blah. Cathie Wood says that Bitcoin has trillions in market cap potential, trillions with a T. Bitcoin is in its early days, given its new interest from institutions and its diverse use cases. When you think the market cap of Bitcoin is roughly 950 billion, think about that in the context of an Apple. It's less than half of Apple's valuation, and here we are talking about the reserve currency of the crypto asset world. We expected institutional investors to start moving in. What we did not expect from institutions was the diversification on their balance sheet and a diversification of their cash assets into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's role as a hedge and an insurance policy, especially in a world of low rates and quantitative easing. There are even instances where it acts as a risk-off asset.
There is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
That's a lot. The dollar is down, which is normally a positive cue for gold, but gold is down at the same time Bitcoin is up. We're going to see a lot of attention on it, and the people who are focused on it really know what they're talking about. It's a positive, ultimately, for approval of an exchange traded product, the ever waiting for Bitcoin ETF. Meanwhile, we've got Mania, and Mania. Bill Gates issues serious Bitcoin warning as Tesla billionaire Elon Musk strokes crypto price mania. Biggest Bitcoin fund sinks to record discount as Mania cools. Market wrap. Bitcoin heads for worst week since March as prices hold around 46.5 thousand. Cash is the king in times of distress, not Bitcoin, said one market watcher. Bitcoin's price turned choppy on Friday as the number one cryptocurrency by market capitalization logged its worst weekly performance since March 2020, when the pandemic hit the global economy. Bitcoin was trading around 46,244, down 5.7% in the previous 24 hours. Bitcoin's 24-hour range was between 44,000 and 49,000. Bitcoin's most tumultuous weekly performance since almost a year ago shows that this week's high volatility was not caused by one simple factor. The correction earlier this week was largely triggered by an overheated derivatives market as traders rushed to exit leveraged bets or got liquidated from positions that had accumulated as Bitcoin pushed up to an all-time high above 58,000. A drop below 45,000 on Thursday coincided with a sell-off in the broader stock market due to rising concerns over surging bond yields, which might dim the allure of riskier assets like cryptocurrency. Check out shop.worldcryptonetwork.com where you can get the brand new HAL Finny t-shirt and mug. Also, check out Trezors Don't Float Volume 2.0, the amazing comeback of the Trezor. He's driving a boat, and it doesn't look good. Trezors Don't Float and the new HAL Finny t-shirt at shop.worldcryptonetwork.com. One password has none. KeyPass has none. So why are there 7 embedded trackers in the LastPass Android app? I wonder. Check out our new laptop fundraiser where 101 contribute new laptop. We're 94% towards our goal, but Bitcoin number goes up technology has started working against us. So we're going to have to keep donating to this fundraiser. Another way to think about this is paying for the show. Like if you like the show and you wanted to pay like 50 cents a day, you could pay $5 and buy like 10 days of the show. So that would be really cool. Something like that. Instead of thinking of donation, you could think of it as a contribution. I don't know. Anyway, push the button here, $2 right there. Push the lightning button to generate the invoice. It's funny the way I seem to drop off the mic sometimes. I'm going to wonder if I'm going to hear that later. There's the invoice right there in Tallycoin. I scan it in the wallet of Satoshi right there. 4,000 Satoshis. Payment sent. It's green. You can't even see it. And there, boom, Tallycoin's already updated. It's just that easy to use the Lightning Network. Thanks to our 102 contributors. Shout out to Smile. Shout out to Yo. Shout out to No Message $5, No Message $4. Cheers. And like your style, Irene Biscus. I probably said your name wrong, but at least you're not a tulip. It's not a tulip. And stay tuned to the World Crypto Network. We're going to be checking out Blockstream Markets Weekly, the February 26th edition from Blockstream. The price of Bitcoin is down 3.24% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 46,858, a high of 48,441, and a low of 45,038. That's $1 for 2,134 Satoshis, just on the wrong side of the 2,000 Satoshi barrier. Volume was at 8,733 Bitcoins changing hands. The market continues to lean long, but slightly less at 93%. Bitcoin dominance is at 80%. Thanks so much for watching Today in Bitcoin special Saturday edition. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Join the subscribers. Join the World Crypto Network. Until next time, bye-bye.
There's an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There's an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. There's an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.